Hey everyone, welcome to part 2 of my bad guide to defeating world bosses in Genshin Impact. Sorry I haven't posted in a little while. I did a cross-country move, so welcome to my new stream room. But you can expect weekly videos from me from now on, including part 3 to this video series, where I cover only Natlan world bosses. I also live stream on Twitch if you want to stop by. So here we go, the rest of the world bosses except for Natlan. So this is the Pyro Hypostasis A-In. As you can see underneath his health bar, he has a Pyro shield. I think this is the first cube with the shield like this. So I would say to bring as many Hydro characters as you can, as Hydro breaks Pyro the easiest. But as you can see, I brought 4 different characters with different elements, and no Pyro, of course, just to show that the shield is breakable by other elements besides Hydro. This guy isn't complicated, but he does have a lot of crazy movement and turns into a lot of crazy animals and runs around, so just dodge and do elemental reactions to break the shield whenever you can. As you can see, I get hit by like everything here. His revival stage is similar to some other hypostasises that we have seen, so just use Hydro or Electro or anything besides Pyro to break each Tinder triangle. After his shield is down, he dies pretty easily. Next we have Magu Kenki, Ingenious Machine, Marionette Swordmaster. He does Animo and Cryo damage. I don't think he's resistant to those elements, but yeah, just happened to bring these 4 random characters. We have Noelle, Baidu, Xingqiu, and Yao Yao. He has some moves that will hit you for a lot of damage, but they are very easy to avoid, just by doing skills, bursts, or dodging, or having a shield such as I have here with Noelle. So, you know, you'll learn his attacks eventually, but they're not really that complicated. Just run around and kill him. Which is the thesis statement of this video. The only thing I would warn against is that he's invulnerable for periods of time after certain attacks. So just be aware of that so you don't waste your bursts or hardest hitting moves. Let's pay a visit to Golden Wolflord, Nameless King of the Rift. I was actually worried about the mechanics. I remembered this being really hard, but when I did this for the video, it was actually really easy. You'll need a Geo character to break the scary skulls later in the fight, and I brought this level 20 Kachina just to show you that you could bring any Geo character that's not built at all to do this. So I brought Sucrose, Fischl, Yao Yao, and Kachina. You know, they're just doing their thing and killing him pretty quickly. He does fly around a lot, so Fischl is great because Oz flies in the air, and Yao Yao's bunny things shoot things in the distance, and Sucrose is also ranged. But it doesn't really matter because you kill him when he falls to the ground, so no biggie if you don't have these particular characters or even similar characters. Here's a stage when he throws 3 skulls to the ground, and you have to break them with Geo. Here's Kachina going around, hopping, and breaking them pretty easily. You just have to wait for her cooldown. But you know, easy peasy. Like I said, she's level 20 and she still doesn't die. Now the Wolf Lord is knocked to the ground and lying there for a long time, and it's really easy to kill him. Next up, Thunder Manifestation. Raging Thunder of Amakumo Peak. This guy is Electro, so don't bring Electro. He's super immune to it. He's flying around, you know. Yanfei is really great. As with other elemental beings, her Pyro automatically does an elemental reaction with his Electro body. His things do hit pretty hard, so it's great to bring a shielder, but they are easy to avoid if you know what you're doing. So as you can see, I have a shielder, Karara, who turns into a box and runs away pretty quickly. I also brought Yao Yao and Xingqiu. This guy doesn't really have any phases, just a lot of moves that he does, so they're kind of like mini phases, so just keep running around, use your shields, use your heals, and kill him. Just like the Wolf Lord having Yao Yao with things that can hit him from a distance, and you know, Yanfei also has ranged shots, that's always helpful. Hydro Hypostasis, he, or he. This guy is Hydro, so don't bring Hydro. Cryo is obviously great because it freezes the slimes that it summons, especially Layla here, whose shots automatically attack things and freeze them. But I also brought Fischl, Chongyun, and Bennett, just to show you that their elements work as well. This is another hypostasis fight where you run around and avoid things until the cube is in its vulnerable state. Watch out for the evil dolphins. Prioritize the slimes that it summons, as they heal it and stuff. In its revival stage, it will have water droplets moving towards it. Just run around and kill all of those to prevent it from reviving and healing itself. And you're done. This fight actually kind of took a long time for me because, I brought a random team, but it's fun and I could have done more damage, but I was just trying to remember the mechanics and, just fooling around. Next we have Perpetual Mechanical Array. Perpetual Resonance SI/AID. I brought Sucrose, Candice, Zhanling, and Karara. This guy has two main phases, as I'm sure you know. First, he turns into a giant sword or rocket and tries to kill you. Just dodge and use your bursts and skills to avoid damage from these. And just deal damage to him until he goes into his annoying second phase. He will break apart into 4 different pieces, and you have to look for the section of him that has a glowing ring around it and kill that mechanical mob in order to put him in his super vulnerable state. A tip is not to attack too early because the monster takes a while to become vulnerable, so just sit and wait for a second. After you kill the special marked mob, go find the main boss who's gonna be lying down in a little cube and kill him hard. If you happen to do another phase, it's just rinse and repeat. This is the Jade Plume Terror Shroom, aka Deepwood Shroom Lord. For this dendro, chicken, mushroom, dinosaur, chickens are dinosaurs after all. Bring anything besides dendro, as it's pretty resistant to dendro. And you'll get some dendro reactions anyway because it's a dendro chicken. So I brought Chongyun, Xingqiu, Candice, and Kuki Shinobu. This guy does have some cool mechanics that affect its attacks and abilities. For example, if you bring Pyro, it spawns some minions and does different things. And, have fun experimenting with everything. But for this, as usual, I brought 4 random people. It has some mini phases where it goes into berserk mode and runs around. If that happens, just stay out of its way and it will pass out and enter a very vulnerable stage. This is a very easy fight. It's always been very easy because of how strong dendro reactions are, so just kill it. Here we have the Aeon Blight Drake, aka Perpetual Motion GL Faf. I brought Yanfei, Fischl, Kojusara, and Yao Yao. I think he can become resistant to a certain elemental type in your party, but don't quote me on that. This is a bad guide after all. And it really doesn't matter, just bring a ranged person to shoot him out of the sky when you need to. You don't even need to use a charged shot, just any bow user with a quick shot brings him down. After you shoot down both of his engines on his wings, as you can see here. Otherwise, this fight has always been very quick for me, and I don't have too much to say about it. Next, we have the Dendro Hypostasis, aka Zayn. And guess what? This is the first Hypostasis fight where I'm gonna tell you to bring the element. What? Yeah, bring Dendro, because it's needed for the revival stage at the end. Electro is also recommended for the same reason, and a Pyro is recommended for 2 of its mechanics that I'll show you. So I brought Candice, Kale, Fischl, and Toma. So yes, this fight is kind of complicated and actually does require you to bring specialized elements if you want to beat this in a quick and easy fashion. As you can see here, you need Pyro to break him out of his ball, as well as some Pyro here to make sure that you can break out of these thorns. Again, it's not needed, but otherwise, you're just taking damage and whatnot. So just do damage to him until his revival stage, which you'll see here. And you'll want to apply Dendro to each of these revival triangles. And then, as the game tells you, you can also apply Electro to the same triangles to speed up the cleansing/unrevivaling mechanic. Ugh, the names keep getting longer. Who does this guy think he is? Semi-intransient Matrix of Overseer Network. Tomb Guard of the Desert King. That's really his name? This is another boss where it benefits you greatly to bring specialized elements, especially Dendro and Electro. When he enters his invisible stage, applying Dendro and Electro to him immediately brings him out of it. It's a little complicated sometimes if you can't find him when he's invisible, but most of the time he will have some visible debuff on him, and if you bring Fischl or Yao Yao, they can target him automatically. But with any character, it's usually not that hard, and, just play around. As you can see, I brought a team of 2 Dendro, 2 Electro, just to make sure that there's always Dendro and Electro all around me, and I implore you to do the same. If by chance you don't have characters like these, his phases are easy enough to just destroy anything that is summoned to eventually bring him out of his invisibility. Next is Setika, We Nut. You nut, I nut, we all nut together. Just like the Wolf Lord, I was kind of nervous that this would be difficult, but it's really easy and obviously just annoying to watch him jump out of the sands. You kind of have to time some of your bursts and skills and abilities correctly to do the most damage at the right time. But really, it doesn't matter too much, especially since he has a vulnerable stage where he passes out like other bosses. This is an Anemo boss, by the way, so I think he might be resistant to Anemo, so maybe stay away from that. So I brought the same team as last time, actually. Fischl, Kale, Karara, and Kuki Shinobu. Also, in order to trickle... I invented a new word. In order to trigger his vulnerable stage while he's flying around, he'll have these Anemo swirls that you have to get another element into. So bow users are really good for this, but also it sometimes happens very easily and naturally, no matter who you bring. And you'll see he dies very quickly. Next is Iniquitous Baptist, aka the Guide to the Dark Paradise. So this boss rotates between 3 different elemental shields. You can actually see what his shields are going to be when you're approaching him, as the colors of the elements are floating around where he spawns. So obviously you want to bring a nice mix of elements to be able to break the 3 shields that you'll know about before you start the fight. He won't ever have a Dendro shield, so that's always good to bring. But yeah, as you can see, I brought Xingqiu, Zhonling, Layla, and Yao Yao. If you fail to break them, it's no big deal. He'll just deal some damage, but if you have a shield, you'll be okay. Just switch to the character that helps best break the shields that's currently on him, and after you break the 3 shields, he'll enter a vulnerable state and fall to the ground. This is the Emperor of Fire and Iron, searing tide pulsing beneath the mountains. Let the mountain's veins boil! Okay, Mr. Krabs has a Pyro shield, so obviously don't bring Pyro. Once you break the shield, he dies pretty fast. I brought Xingqiu, Candace, Layla, and Yao Yao. Any Hydro or Cryo are really great against him. Just watch out for his claw strikes and stuff. I think he hits pretty hard. As you'll see, he'll go underground and he'll emerge with another Pyro shield. So I did have to go through 2 Pyro shields in this fight. After you break that Pyro shield, he's cooked and ready for some butter. Next we have the Millennial Pearl Seahorse, Nameless Lord of the Great Lake. Okay, first of all, he's not nameless, he has a name. And second of all, he'll never own a home. The Seahorse. Honestly, I used to dread doing this fight because I didn't really know how to do it early on. But with my fantastic guide today, you will learn how to do it well, and it's really not that hard. So first things first, he has an Electro shield. So obviously, don't bring Electro. The Electro shield is actually on this pearl thing on its chest, and once you break it, it goes into a vulnerable state. Cryo is the best at beating Electro shields, but you can also use Pyro and Hydro and stuff. But if you fail to break it in time, it will do annoying flying moves. See, that's why I used to dread doing this fight, because it takes much longer this way. But at the same time, it does allow you another way to break its shields. My team had 3 Cryos, as you can see. We have Chongyun, Rosaria, Charlotte, and Xingqiu. So I didn't have to do any annoying stuff this time, and the Seahorse stayed pretty close to me the whole fight. Hydrotolupa, awakened Egregore! Guys, guess what? This guy is Hydro, he's water, so don't bring Hydro. Oh my god, I sound like a broken record. So since he's Hydro, he can act as the Hydro element of a Hyper Bloom team. So I would recommend to bring 2 Dendro and 2 Electro and let him act as the Hydro application. I brought Toma though to make the team random and not work perfectly, just to show how easy it is, like I did with a lot of these bosses. The main thing is to kill his babies he summons as fast as possible, and avoid his giant sword attacks and stuff because some of his things hit hard. Prototype Cal Brigette Experimental Fields Generator. This boss is kinda stationary and kinda just hovers, but he will drop down on your head. But to combat this, he gives you the ability to jump very high and enable plunge attacks for a lot of characters. Obviously, maybe don't use the Catalyst as your main DPS for this. Claymores have the best damage multipliers for plunge attacks, so it's always good to have a Claymore guy, but you don't necessarily need one. I brought a really random team of Chongyun, Dendro Traveler, Kuki Shinobu, and Bennett. This team really makes no sense, but Chongyun has a nice big sword, you know? So just have fun plunge attacking. But be sure to time your jumps good. Learn from my mistakes here as he killed me on the last plunge. So this boss works a little bit different. You talk to this guy to choose one of 2 boss battles. I don't think they're too different from each other. Honestly, I can't be bothered to tell you the differences, but they obviously do have different drops, different moves, maybe different elements. So the first one we're doing is Dirge of Capelia. There we go. Icewind Sweet Duality. Side A. Also, one of these bosses is weak to Noma and the other is weak to Weisha, but just my advice, there's an achievement for using those Fontanian regional effects against them. But even when I was trying extremely hard to do it, like with a stacked 5-star team, it was still really annoying to use them correctly, so I wouldn't even recommend it. But maybe you know how to do it better than I did, but I say to just brute force this fight. You will have to dodge a lot in this fight, so I brought Karara as my shielder to help mitigate some annoying ballet attacks on my face, and my Yanfei has a shield as well. Just a lot of dodging, and don't stand in the fire, as they say. For side B, seeing the footage now, it's definitely Cryo, and they do have a phase with a Cryo shield, so maybe don't bring Cryo. Otherwise, again, it's just a lot of dodging. In this fight, the female robot has some crazy moves and she comes at you, so just make sure to dodge her as well. So obviously this fight is taking a little long the way I'm doing it, you know, dodging, fighting, dodging, fighting. If you could figure out, you know, the Weisha and Noma stuff and which character has which specialty, then all the props to you. Go ahead and do that. It probably could make it easier, but otherwise you'll be okay if you don't use those regional specialties. Next we have Statue of Marble and Brass. Legatus of Legion Anthantoi. This boy's got a Geo shield, so Claymore and Geo is probably best to bring. I didn't bring any Geo just to make it harder on myself. I used Chongyun with his Claymore as my main DPS. So the statue will put a thing on the floor for you to break, as you can see here. So be sure to break it. My team is random and has some bad synergies, but that's why we're here. So we have Chongyun, Xingqiu, Toma, and Iona. Just a lot of repetitive stuff, you know, break the Geo shield, break the thing on the floor, and kill the horseman. If you have a Claymore or Geo, you'll be fine. Thanks so much for watching this video, and don't forget I have other parts to this video series. I also stream on Twitch if you want to stop by. Thank you, see you next week for another video. Bye!